Can't we stop this beastly row?
How I wish we could.
Because I'm so sorry.
Turning a TV show into a movie can be a tricky move, but some franchises, like The Simpsons and The Naked Gun, have pulled it off seamlessly. So when Downton Abbey announced a big screen adaptation, fans were understandably wary. But any doubts quickly faded when the film became a massive hit, leading to a sequel. Downton Abbey: A New Era, greenlit in August 2021. Jump ahead to May 13, 2024, and despite the second film not smashing box office records, the studio still gave the green light for a third and final installment. With this movie set to wrap up the Crawley family story for good, expectations are high for a satisfying conclusion. So, let's dive into everything we know about Downton Abbey 3 so far. Downton Abbey 3 is officially set to hit theaters in the UK and US on September 12, 2025, marking the grand finale of the beloved franchise. For years, Downton Abbey has captivated audiences with its seamless blend of history and fiction, showcasing the lavish yet ever-changing world of the Crawley family. With 6 seasons and 2 successful films under its belt, the series is now wrapping up with this third and final movie, closing the book on the Crawleys and their dedicated staff. One of the biggest reasons Downton Abbey remains so popular is its commitment to weaving real historical events into its narrative. From the very first episode covering the Titanic sinking in 1912 to exploring the effects of World War I and the Roaring Twenties, the series has never shied away from history. Now, as Downton Abbey 3 moves into the 1930s, it's inevitable that one of the most defining events of that decade, the Great Depression, will play a major role. Given that Downton Abbey: A New Era ended in 1929, the franchise has been inching toward this crisis for a while. Throughout the films, Lady Mary and the Crawleys have worried about whether their grand estate can survive the changing times. But the Great Depression presents a much bigger challenge than just shifting societal attitudes. It's a financial disaster that could threaten their entire way of life. The impact won't just be on the Crawleys. The Great Depression, which hit both the US and the UK, caused widespread economic hardship, forcing even the wealthiest families to tighten their belts. If the Crawleys' wealth takes a significant hit, they may have to say goodbye to their extravagant lifestyle, fewer lavish dinners, grand parties, and luxurious clothing. Worse, they might not be able to afford to keep their devoted staff, which would put some of the series' most beloved characters in a dire situation. Jobs would be scarce, and survival would be uncertain for those who had once called Downton home. And then there's the biggest question: can the Crawleys even keep Downton Abbey? The estate isn't just a home, it's a symbol of legacy, stability, and tradition. But keeping such a massive property afloat during an economic collapse is no small feat. If middle-class families struggle to afford basic necessities, maintaining a grand estate could prove impossible. If Downton Abbey 3 truly is the final chapter, could it end with the Crawleys losing everything? Lady Mary, the legal heir to Downton, has always believed in securing a stable future for her children within the walls of the estate. If the family is forced to leave, their entire way of life and the promise of security for future generations could disappear. With just a year to go before Downton Abbey 3 arrives in theaters, fans are left wondering, will the Crawleys and their staff find a way to endure, or will the Great Depression spell the end of Downton Abbey itself? Either way, the film is shaping up to be an emotional and fitting conclusion to a story that has spanned decades, capturing the rise and fall of one of England's most iconic families. And for those unfamiliar with the Great Depression, here's a quick refresher. This worldwide economic crisis began in 1929 and lasted through the 1930s, becoming the longest and most severe depression in modern history. Though it started in the US, its effects rippled across the world, leading to drastic economic decline, high unemployment, and social upheaval. It reshaped economies, politics, and daily life, and now it's about to change Downton Abbey forever. One thing I'm really curious about in Downton Abbey 3 is whether Lady Mary will end up divorcing Henry Talbot. In Downton Abbey: A New Era, Mary really embraced the whole New Era vibe, holding everything together at Downton while also resisting her growing attraction to director Jack Barber during the filming of The Gambler. what stands out is that her husband, Henry, is totally MIA, which Mary actually misses. The story explains that Henry was off at a rally in Istanbul, and he ends up missing a lot, including Tom and Lucy's wedding, Lady Violet's funeral, and even the Bransons' baby being born. With Henry gone for so long and Lady Violet passing away, Mary starts stepping into her role as the next Lady Violet, even exploring a new romance. It's a situation that kind of mirrors the fun and secretive romantic moments Violet had in her younger years. In real life, Good's absence was because he was busy filming The Offer, a Paramount Plus series about the making of The Godfather. Henry being away opened the door for a potential new love interest for Mary in the form of Jack Barber, though she wisely doesn't jump into anything with him, knowing it's not all about what she wants. Plus, there's a moment where Mary reflects on her late husband Matthew, played by Dan Stevens, which includes a fun little nod to his role as the fairy tale prince in Disney's Beauty and the Beast, a cheeky reference to Stevens' real-life Disney connection. With Henry barely making an appearance in Downton Abbey 2019 and then completely absent in A New Era, it really makes you wonder if Mary and Henry's marriage will be ending in this film. In Downton Abbey A New Era, there was a moment that made fans worry Cora was on her way out, but thankfully, that wasn't the case. Dr. Clarkson reassured Cora and Robert that she didn't have cancer, easing their fears. The scene where Cora tells Robert she's ill and fears she might die in the south of France really hit hard, causing Robert to break down emotionally. This moment was especially tough for Robert, considering he was already grappling with a huge crisis. There was a shocking possibility that the Marquis, Lady Violet's old lover, might actually be Robert's real father. If that turned out to be true, it meant Robert wasn't the true Earl of Grantham, and everything he thought he knew about his identity would be a lie. Add to that the potential loss of Cora and his mother, and Robert was facing a lot. But in the end, Robert is indeed the rightful Earl. Lady Violet, on her deathbed, swore that nothing ever happened between her and the Marquis, putting that theory to rest. With her word, Robert's title remains secure, and it will pass down to Mary and Matthew's son, George, once he comes of age. A New Era gave Lord and Lady Grantham some much-needed screen time, making them central to the story in a way that was missing in Downton Abbey 2019, and it was definitely a highlight of the sequel. The resolution of Robert's title and Cora's health in Downton Abbey A New Era sets the stage for some interesting dynamics in the third movie. With Robert's status as the Earl of Grantham secured and the family legacy intact, the third film could focus more on the future of the Crawley family, especially as George, Mary, and Matthew's son is set to inherit the title. This might lead to some exploration of how the next generation, including Mary and her children, handles the pressures and responsibilities of the family estate. And that wraps up today's video. If you want to stay in the loop with all the latest movie and TV news, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a big thumbs up, because I'll be dropping more updates on Downton Abbey 3 soon, and sharing news about some of your other favorite series and movies. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.